Okay, so this is a basic demonstration on how to add black and white to a gray while using the bones to kind of do black and white on gray shading. Now, the first step, what you're going to do first is you're actually going to make a little value scale. And this is going to help you kind of figure out the amount of black and white that you need to be adding here. All right, so you're just going to, on the back of your sheet, not on the front, because the front is your art. So on the back of your art, what you're going to do is you're going to make a little loose box like this. Then you're going to make a box here in the middle. This is going to be your middle gray. It should be the color of the paper, basically. One, two, three boxes on the left, one, two, three boxes on the right. So basically, you're going to start out by shading this in fully with your colored pencil. This is going to be a little bit quicker. So I'm adding in nice heavy gray here, or nice heavy black rather, because I want this to look black. All right, now this is just a value scale like you would make with pencil. The only difference is we're going to be adding white to the other side. So then you're going to come in and you're going to get a little bit lighter. And so this lets more of the gray show through. And this should feel very much like you're doing a regular value scale, just like you would with pencil. Then you're going to go a little bit lighter. So it should be a gradual transition to this middle gray here. Like I said, this is going to be on the back of your piece of gray paper. All right, so now we've got our middle gray here, and now we're going to start adding white with our white colored pencil. And so we're going to use a little bit of pressure here to do a light gray. So this is just a little bit lighter than this middle gray here. Then we're going to add more pressure and overlap to get it even lighter, more approaching true white. And then we're going to press the hardest to get bright white. So intense black or bright white, we have the most pressure and overlap of the pencil. So it looks like a gradual value scale there in the middle. All right. So you're going to do that on the back. Then on the front, once you've got your bones and everything arranged and transferred, you're then going to come in and start doing your shading. Now, I would recommend starting with black because it's going to feel the most natural, as in like you're used to adding dark shading to a white piece of paper. So this is going to feel the most natural to you. So you want to look for the stuff that's kind of on the darker end of the spectrum, like the inside of this eye socket here. Especially back in here. And as we start to get lighter through this area here, we don't want to use straight white. We're going to basically just back off of the pressure and let more of the gray show through. Got this dark value in here. And there's more dark back here. This is all some various value of dark back here. Now, your instinct might be to be like, oh, well, let's put a bunch of really dark stuff anywhere there's shadow. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to let the gray of the paper do some of the work for us. So I'm just focusing on the stuff that's really, really dark. Putting in some dark details. All right, so now that I've got this area fairly tackled with a few little dark spots here, I'm going to then come back with white. And now I'm going to start putting in the lighter values with the white. And now that I see this whole area is fairly dark, this is what I meant by letting the the gray of the paper do some of the work for me. I'm going to let my absence of white there show that shadow. I'm going to get a little bit wider to fill in some more areas here. And this would just represent you turning your pencil on its side to fill in more stuff. Now, the areas that are brighter, you're just going to bring in and do more overlap with. This area here along the bridge of the nose is going to be very bright. There's a lot of really bright values through this side of the nose here because that's where the light's hitting. And you can do line work with your colored pencil, or you can kind of blend it out by doing little like circles. And these areas here on the top of the upper lip, that's really where you're going to let the gray do most of your shadow work. So you're basically highlighting in between the shadows if you look at that. And here is another great example of using less white to do a darker value of the highlight. You know, it's brighter right in here, and then it's darker back behind the teeth. Now, this whole area is going to be fairly light, so you can actually kind of coat the whole area with white and then come back in and get heavier where there's brighter highlights here on the edge of the nose, leading up there. So a lot of this skull work and bone work, because bones are fairly light, are going to be done with varying degrees of white. You want to make sure to let the paper show through, though. Like, don't let your black and white colored pencils mix. Like, put them next to one another and let the middle tone of the paper do the heavy lifting there. So that's how that's going to work.